get me to a point, and then I just snap. And he said that's what happened in practice. He punches MJ in the chest, and MJ hauls off and punches him dead in the eye. And Phil kicks him out of practice, and they have to squash the beef and everything. But that day was important because Steve Kerr earned the respect of Michael Jordan. He wasn't going to let Michael walk all over him and just dog him out every day in practice. He was going to earn that respect and trust on Michael Jordan because that's what Michael wanted. He wanted people to stand up to him and get a little, a little dog in him and be there because, again, in the playoffs, it's not going to be easy. And it's not going to have you're not going to have a shoulder to cry on. You got to be tough. You got to be rugged. You got to be able to last for the entire season, 7-game series, 5-game series. When you get knocked down, it's not, here's a Band-Aid. It's get up and play defense. You know what I mean? So he was looking for that, and Steve Kerr definitely gave him that. But not only that, the addition of Dennis Rodman, we finally get it in the 95-96 season. Finally, that gap that was left by Horace Grant when he goes to the Magic is filled by Dennis Rodman, who, again, we know the worm. He's a crazy rebounder, would predict and study trajectories of flight patterns of shots from Larry Bird to Michael Jordan and know where the ball was going to be. The guy was insane. He joins the Bulls, and they proceed to have one of the greatest seasons at that time, the greatest season ever, winning 72 out of 82 games. 72-10. Now, granted, the Warriors in 2016 won 73 games but lost the NBA title, so I would still consider that 95 team to be the greatest basketball team ever. But they couldn't call themselves that until they won that fourth championship. They got to get that ring. Without the ring, it don't mean a thing. They had the branded hats that said that. So they get into the playoffs, and of course, as fate would have it, they rematched the Orlando Magic. And whereas the year before, Horace Grant, Shaquille O'Neal, that was young, Penny Hardaway, the young, really took it to the Bulls and really just pushed them and ran and tired out Michael Jordan. They got into the Eastern Conference Finals and swept the Magic. Completely swept them. This was not the same team as the year before. This was a greatest of all-time Bulls team and a refocused, energized, rejuvenated Michael Jordan with a killer instinct looking to get to those finals in 95-96 and completely take it over. And we've transitioned into episode 8. I didn't mention it earlier. Sorry, I'm just getting excited with like watching and going back and talking about all this. But anyway, we're in episode 8 right now. And this is where the Bulls get to the 95-96 finals. They're taking on the Seattle Supersonics. And for you boomers in here and zoomers, or not boomers, zoomers that are in here, you Generation Z people, that is actually used to be a franchise. The Seattle Supersonics became the Oklahoma City Thunder. But at that time, they were a really, really good basketball team coached by George Karl. You had the glove Gary Payton, lockdown defender, Sean Kemp, a high flyer, a guy that could posterize anybody in the league at that point. They were a good ball club and the best team in the West. And so they had actually beaten that 72-10 Bulls team at that, which a lot of teams didn't hold a win over that ball club. So they had a regular season win over this team. A lot of reason to think, we're going to give them a competitive series and beat them. So again, this is Michael's way of motivating himself. George Karl sees Michael in a restaurant before the series starts. They see each other, and to Michael's recollection, George doesn't say anything to him, doesn't look at him, just walks right by him. And these guys, in Michael's estimation, have been pretty good friends, played golf together. So for George not to even acknowledge him or say anything to him, Mike took it as disrespect, and he was like, you know what? I'm gonna prove it to you on the court. And the Bulls go up 3-0 right out of the gate. I mean, Michael's just dominating. 3-0, they jump on the Sonics. So there's basically, they win one game and they sweep the Seattle Supersonics. They sweep them. And Gary Payton said, well, that's not happening. I'm not letting that happen. They called the guy the glove for a reason. And he tells a story where the series was supposed to be focused around him being an offensive threat. They didn't want him to waste a lot of energy on the defensive side. They wanted him to be an offensive threat. And for those 3 games, they tried that. And this is, again, out of Gary Payton's mouth, so I don't know exactly what happened, but this is his words. He said, and again, I'm paraphrasing, he said, George kept with this idea, George Karl kept with this idea that he didn't want me to be tired on defense. He wanted me to play some offense. And he goes, you know what? I'm not doing that. Screw that. Screw George. I'm doing what I'm going to do now. You don't like it, deal with it. So he said, I'm taking Michael one-on-one defensively, and I'm shutting him down. And to Gary Payton's credit, for 2 games, he does just that. Holds Michael to 6 of 19 shooting or something like that. Basically, his idea was to tire Michael out, just constant defensive pressure all over him. If he's going to bring the ball up, he's bringing it up 94 feet with just pressure right in his face. Anytime he's on the elbow, I'm right in his body. Like I'm not giving him any room to breathe, nothing. And so they show Michael Jordan the video of the interview of Gary Payton saying this stuff, that this was his idea and this was how he was going to play Michael years later, obviously. But they show him the interview just like on an iPad, and Michael starts dying laughing. He starts just dying laughing at this video of Gary Payton saying, I took the challenge myself, and I was going to defend him and tire him out, and he wasn't going to do nothing. And they won 2 games. The Sonics win 2 games to make the series